The cafeteria buzzed with noise when a familiar shadow loomed over your table. "You're in my seat," Jungkook's deep voice cut through. You glanced up unbothered, didn't see your name on it, Sean. His signature smirk tugged at his lips. "Move." You leaned back smugly. "No, sit somewhere else." A small crowd began forming, your banter all too familiar, Jungkook said dramatically. "Were you always difficult?" "You're the drama queen, not me." He poked his chest, defiant. Jungkook grabbed your wrist, leaning in. "Move, or I will make you." Heart stuttering, you matched his energy. "Try me." He yanked your chair slightly and you elked, catching his shirt for balance. Laughter erupted around you. "You absolute idiot," you snapped. "That was the plan." He winked. Grabbing his drink, you sipped it with a smirk. Thanks for the free drink." Jungkook stared, jaw slack. He leaned in, whispering, "Bring it on, John." His smirk faded into something deeper, darker, and just like that, the playful war continued. Two enemies with hearts already tangled. One day Jungkook twirled a paintbrush, smirking as he dabbed with paint on your chair. Perfect prank. You had said, "Get messy," and he would tease you all day. "One, now I'll see how you're going to escape from me. I'll laugh at you forever." He smirked, looking at your chair, and left from there to keep the paintbrush and box back in its place. Then you walked in, laughing with your best friend, heading towards your seat, completely unaware of Jungkook's act. One, Alex's voice stopped you, pulling your attention away. Jungkook's smirk vanished. You turned, walked towards Alex, chatting and smiling brightly. Jungkook's fist curled. Jungkook's friend elbowed him. Damn, plan failed. "Shut up," Jungkook muttered, jaw tight. "Not just the prank. You're jealous, bro. Come on, admit it." He scoffed, but his eyes were still locked on you, watching, burning, hating how good Alex made you laugh, and deep down wishing it was him instead. The warmth of the cozy evening wrapped around you as you lay sprawled across the living room couch, absent-mindedly scrolling through your phone. The soft glow from the television flickered across the room, but you weren't paying attention. It had been a long, exhausting day at university, and all you wanted was to sink into the cushions and forget about everything. Just as you were about to drift into relaxation, the sharp sound of a doorbell echoed through the house. Wine opened the door. Your mom called from the kitchen, her voice ringing through the hallway. You groaned, stretching out your limbs like a cat. "Ah, why me? I'm finally comfortable." "Because I said so," she replied, her tone leaving no room for argument. You said dramatically, dragging yourself up as if it was the hardest task in the world. With heavy steps, you walked toward the door, rubbing your sleepy eyes, muttering under your breath about how unfair life was. With absolutely no energy, you swung the door open. A loud explosion of confetti brushed in front of you. Teeny colored paper pieces shot out, fluttering in the air like a mini snowstorm. You jumped back in shock, your eyes wide, as your heart slammed against your chest. Standing at the doorway, holding an empty party popper, was none other than Jungkook. His face was glowing with pure mischief, a cocky smirk playing on his lips. His dark eyes sparkled with amusement as he tilted his head, completely unbothered by your shocked reaction. "Surprise, loser," he said, crossing his arms proudly. Your brain took a full 5 seconds to process what had just happened. Your heartbeat, still slightly erratic, began to settle until something evil sparked inside your mind. You blinked twice and then you gasped loudly, clutching your eye. "Ah, my eye!" you screamed, staggering backward. "Something went into my eye." Jungkook's smirk vanished in an instant. His entire body stiffened. "Wait, what? No way." Before he could even react properly, a loud smack landed on his arm. Jungkook yelped, turning to see his mom standing behind him, glaring with her hands on her hips. She had probably seen the entire thing from the car. I told you not to do anything childish, she scolded. Why can't you behave for once? Jungkook winced, rubbing his arm, but he wasn't paying attention to her anymore. His focus was entirely on you. You continued clutching your eye, dramatically wincing in pain. It hurt so bad, you whined. Turning slightly away from him, Jungkook panicked. His face lost all color as he quickly stepped forward, eyes darting over your figure. Wine, wait, let me see. His voice was frantic, full of concern. Move your hand, I swear. I didn't mean to. Just let me check, please. His hands hovered yours, hesitant yet desperate. His lips parted slightly, and his eyebrows knitted together in pure worry. He looked as if his entire soul had left his body. I'm so sorry, he stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. Princess, please, just let me check, okay? His breath was shaky, his usual playful arrogance was completely gone. And that's when he lost it at word princess. A small giggle slipped out. Jungkook froze, his wide eyes flickered with confusion. Then you burst out laughing, your entire body shook as he doubled over, holding your stomach, struggling to breathe. Jungkook's jaw dropped, his whole body went stiff as his brain tried to process what was happening. You, he exhaled sharply, realization hitting him like a truck. You were acting? Your parents, who had been silently watching, started laughing too. Jungkook groaned, running both hands down his face. I swear to God, Wine, I almost had a heart attack. Tears of laughter rolled down your cheeks as you tried to speak between giggles. And John Jungkook, that is what you get for all your stupid pranks. Jungkook took a deep, slow breath, still recovering. Oh, you're so dead, I swear, I'm gonna get you back. You wiped away an imaginary tear, looking forward to it, loser. The smell of home-cooked food filled the room, your stomach practically singing. As everyone settled at the table, Jungkook was still sulking about your prank, poking his food with his claw until the first bite hit his tongue. His eyes widened, then he moaned loud. Auntie, he whispered dramatically, clutching his chest. This is divine. He even kissed your mom's hand like some over-the-top princess. You roll your eyes. Can you not? Your mom chuckled. Actually, wine cooked today. Jungkook's fork paused mid-air. He blinked once, twice, then gasped. Excuse me, you snapped. I would have written my will first, he croaked, falling back in his chair like he had been poisoned. If you hate it so much, then starve, you said, shaking your head in disbelief. Oh no, I never waste food, he said, forcing another dramatic bite, even if I died tragically. You were ready to launch your fork at him, but then he smirked because what he didn't say, he knew you made it. Knew from the first damn bite, but teasing you like this, his favorite seasoning. You just came out for fresh air as both of your families were having a funny argument about the trip, yours or his. As your families are known from yours, and still you and Jungkook behave like enemies unlike your parents. Then you saw Jungkook, he was off to the side, leaning against a tree, cool, calm, detached. A cigarette lit his finger. Seriously, he is smoking again? You stormed towards him. He didn't blink, just exhaled slow smoke and said, You're about to lecture me, huh? You didn't answer. You snatched it right out of his hand and crushed it under your heel, but there was a silence. Jungkook sighed, brushing hair back from his face. What's wrong? You glared. What's wrong? Are you kidding me right now? And then the words spilled about health, addiction, the damage, the pain of watching someone ruin themselves. I didn't interrupt it, just watched you intently, quietly. You hated how unreadable his face was, hated that he made you care so much. Finally, you exhaled, breath shaky. I hate it when you smoke. Jungkook. His gaze dropped to your lips, then flickered back to your eyes, voice slow. I know, but I can't stop it immediately unless you give me your lips to quit it. He took out another one and lit it before putting in his mouth, and you paused as a surprise. The world still. My lips. I can't believe you. You looked at him angrily and left from there shaking your head in disbelief, whereas Jungkook was watching you while exhaling the smoke smoothly. The sun was out, bags were packed, and the air buzzed with excitement as everyone stood outside Jungkook's house. Your parents and his were busy loading up the SUV while you adjusted your cap beside your suitcase. Jungkook is always barely paying attention, chewing gum with his hands in his pockets. Then his mom clapped her hands. We are ready. Jungkook raised an eyebrow. Wait, how are we all fitting in that car? His mom shrugged. You two are taking the other car. You froze what? You glanced at the full SUV and then at Jungkook, who looked just as annoyed. Guess it's just us, he said with a sigh. You crossed your arms. This is the worst. Jungkook smirked. Ah, don't sound so excited, sweetheart. You glared. I'd rather walk. Cool, he said, grabbing the keys. Get in one. You groaned but followed him to the car, knowing this would be one long trip. The sky turned a soft shade of orange as the sun dipped behind the horizon. The cool evening breeze brushed through the car's half-opened window, tousling your hair as you leaned back, eyes drifting over the endless road ahead. Jungkook drove, one hand on the wheel, the other lazily holding a cigarette, the smell of tobacco mixed with the fresh air making you frown. Jungkook, you warned, turning to face him. He raised an eyebrow, feigning innocence. What? Your gaze shifted to the, and without thinking, he reached over and lightly smacked his thigh. The sudden action made him jolt, and he choked on his inhale, coughing dramatically. Wow, cool down, baby, he said, clutching his chest, as if you had fatly wounded him. You rolled your eyes, already regretting giving him a reaction. You will crush my future babies, he teased, smirking. Jungkook, you gasped, eyes wide with shock. He laughed, clearly enjoying how flustered you were. You're disgusting, you exclaimed, showing his arm. And stop smoking, now throw it away and take a deep breath. With a dramatic sigh, he flicked the cigarette out the window and inhaled deeply, exhaling slowly with exaggerated care. You crossed your arms, nodding in satisfaction. Good boy. For a split second, you caught his ears turning red, but he quickly looked away, gripping the steering wheel tighter. Whatever. Jungkook glanced over at you, noticing how peacefully you looked, your head leaning against the window. Your breathing slow and even. For a moment, his gaze softened, then your phone buzzed. Jungkook's eyes flicked to the screen in your lap, his jaw immediately tightening. It was Alex. His grip on the steering wheel tightened as well. His patience was wearing thin. The phone rang again, waking you from your nap. You blinked disoriented before reaching for your phone. Jungkook's eyes narrowed as a small smile appeared on your lips. You were smiling for Alex. His blood boiled before he could even process his irritation. You answered the call, your voice still heavy with sleep. Hey Alex. Jungkook's jaw clenched, his foot pressing harder on the accelerator than necessary. He laughed at something Alex said. That was it. Jungkook's hands clenched into fists, his grip on the steering wheel growing white-knuckle. Why the hell were you laughing at whatever that idiot was saying? He shot a glare at the name on your screen, Alex. He doesn't like Alex, not one bit. You continued talking, completely unaware of the storm brewing inside Jungkook. Later, you guys reached the hotel your parents booked for spending time on this trip. The lobby was grand, but none of it mattered when the receptionist handed over the room key. One room for us, Jungkook asked, blinking at the card in his hand. You squinted at the room number. This can't be right. Room 204, it's a beautiful suite, the manager said. We're not a couple, you both said at the same time, glaring at each other. Jungkook showed the key in his pocket. Of all the people I have to share a room with you? You crossed your arms. I'd rather sleep in the lobby. You snore like a tractor. I don't, he snapped. Trust me, you do, you said, crossing your arms while rolling your eyes. The parents exchanged amused glances. You two are grown-ups, Jungkook's mom said. Manage it. With no choice, you both trudged to the elevator. Touch my stuff and I'll poison your shampoo you want. If you hog the blanket, I'll throw you off the bed, Jungkook shot back. You touch me in your sleep, you will wake up bald. Jungkook smiled. Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. You gasped and smacked his arm. You jerk. Despite the bickering, there was an unspoken excitement between you. Sharing a room meant more time together, whether either of you admitted it or not. The night has fallen apart somehow. Chaos ended. The night was calm, a cool breeze carrying the scent of salt and pine through the air. Standing on the balcony of their shared hotel room, he leaned against the railing, a cigarette dangling between his fingers. The tip burns dimly, the smoke curling in slow, ghostly tendrils before dissolving into the night. His jaw clenched, his thoughts tangled in frustration. As he exhaled heavily, it wasn't the trip that irritated him, it wasn't even the fact that he was forced to share a room with you, his so-called enemy. Now, what had him on edge was Alex. That damn call. Jungkook had seen the way your lips curved into a soft smile when his name flashed on your screen. He had heard the way your voice turned just a little sweeter as you answered, oblivious to the fact that every word you spoke felt like gasoline on the fire burning inside him. His grip tightened around the cigarette as he coughed under his breath. Of course, you wouldn't notice. You never noticed the way he watched you a little too long when you weren't looking. You never noticed how his teasing was always just a little bit softer with you than with anyone else. And you sure as hell didn't notice how he had been losing his mind over for years. The sound of the balcony door sliding open pulled him from his thoughts. He didn't turn around, he didn't have to. He already knew who it was. I already know what you're going to say. To save it, his voice was laced with irritation, but there was no real bite to it. He stepped closer, arms crossed over your chest, standing just a feet away from him. The moonlight highlighted the curve of your face, your eyes sharp with determination. Jungkook, give me that. He finally turned, meeting your gaze, his eyes darkened, unreadable, held a challenge. The corner of his lips lifted in a lazy smirk, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. Not this time, honey. His voice was low, smooth, but you could hear the edge beneath it. Go back inside and let me have my space. But you didn't move. With a sigh, you reached forward, aiming for the cigarette like you had done countless times before. But this time, before he could snatch it away, his fingers closed around your wrist, stopping you. His touch was warm, almost too warm. Your breath hissed slightly as your skin tingled beneath his hold. You looked up at him, your brows furrowing as you tried to ignore the way his fingers lingered against yours. Jungkook, why do you like smoking so much? Your voice had softened, the irritation replaced with something gentler. He let out a dry chuckle, shaking his head as he looked away. Because it's my only escape from reality, your heart clenched. Jungkook never talked about himself like this. He always masked his emotions behind sarcasm, behind that playful arrogance that kept people at distance, but tonight for the first time his walls were cracking. But Jungkook, it kills you. For a moment he didn't respond, then finally he turned his head, his gaze locking on yours. I know, but something else is killing me too. The words were barely above whisper, but they struck like thunder in the silence between you. Your chest tightened. You wanted to ask what he meant, but deep down you already knew before he could speak. He exhaled sharply, frustration flickering in his expression. Then what should I do, huh? You swallowed, your fingers tightening in his grasp. Stop smoking. The air between you felt thick, charged with something unspoken. For a moment, neither of you moved. The only sound was the distant crashing of waves, the muffled laughter from inside the hotel, and the rhythmic pounding of your own heart. Jungkook sighed, running his tongue over his lip as he considered your words. Then finally he spoke. Okay, your lips parted in surprise, really? But then he smirked. But only on one condition. Your eyes narrowed. What condition it is? You still asked, knowing what he was asking for. Jungkook took a slow step closer, closing the already small gap between you. His voice dropped to a hushed whisper, teasing and serious all at once. Only if I have your sweet lips in between mine for an escape. Your breath caught in your throat, your heart skipped, heart flooded your cheeks as you gasped at him, struggling for a response. The way he looked at you, like he was daring you to push him away, daring you to deny what was happening between you, made it impossible to breathe. Jungkook, your voice was barely a whisper. His fingers grazed your wrist, the touch so light and so overwhelming. Tell me you don't want it and I'll stop. His voice was lower now, his lips dangerously close to yours. The problem was you didn't want him to stop, so instead of answering, you did the only thing your heart begged you to do. You tiptoed and kissed him. The moment your lips touched his, he melted. Jungkook's hand moved instinctively, one gripping your waist while the other cubed the side of your face, pulling you in deeper. His lips were warm, soft, and so desperate, as if he had been waiting for this moment his entire life. And maybe he had. The kiss was slow but intense, filled with unspoken emotions, hidden feelings, and years of pretending to hate each other, when in reality you were hopelessly drawn to one another. By the time you pulled away, your breaths were uneven, your foreheads pressed together as you tried to make sense of what just happened. Jungkook let out a small chuckle, brushing his thumb against your cheek. So, does this mean I won? You rolled your eyes, shoving his chest playfully. Shut up. But despite your words, a small smile tugged at your lips because deep down you both knew this was never about winning, this was about finally surrendering. Your eyes widened in pure horror. There they were, your parents, Jungkook's parents, standing together like they had just orchestrated the greatest love story of the decade, clapping, smiling, practically glowing with pride. Jungkook stood frozen beside you, mouth slightly open, blinking like he had been hit by a truck. What the? Then Jungkook closed the door once thou left and came to you saying, "So you're innocent, huh? Innocent?" He was running after you as you were running to escape from him. Laughter and happiness filled the room as you both played like happy lovers, not as enemies anymore. Thank you for watching.